South Korea engineered a main battle tank that fires nearly twice as fast as its Western rivals, not with more manpower, but by eliminating the loader entirely. 15 shells in 1 minute while on the move, in terrain that breaks lesser machines. The breakthrough was not just speed, it redefined what a tank crew could do. How did Korean designers pull off a technological leap that forced NATO and the world to rethink armor? Inside the K2's turret, the bustle-mounted autoloader runs like clockwork. 16 rounds sit ready in a tightly packed conveyor belt at the rear, each one tracked by a laser barcode reader that identifies the exact type, armor-piercing, high-explosive, or the tank's signature smart munitions. When the gunner selects a target and chooses a round, the system springs into action. The conveyor rotates, lining up the chosen shell with the loading arm. In less than a second, the barcode flashes, confirming the match. The rammer then drives the shell into the 120mm gun's breech. Sensors check alignment, and the fire control system gives the all-clear. From round selection to chambering, the entire cycle takes just 4 to 6 seconds, whether the gun is flat, angled up, or pointed down a slope. But the real advantage shows up when the ground gets rough. A laser emitter at the base of the barrel and a mirror at the tip form a beam that tracks the gun's position in real time. If the tank hits a bump just as the gunner pulls the trigger, the beam breaks for a split second. Instead of firing off target, the system pauses, sometimes just fractions of a second, until the barrel is perfectly aligned again. Only then does the round leave the chamber. This trigger delay mechanism means the K2 can fire on the move at full speed with the same accuracy as if it were standing still. No matter how fast the tank is going or how uneven the terrain, the autoloader never loses tempo. 10 to 15 rounds per minute, every minute, without fatigue or hesitation. A tank that loads and fires itself changes more than just the pace of battle. On the K2, 3 crew members do the work that usually takes 4. There is no human loader working the breech, no one pulling heavy shells from racks, no one racing against exhaustion as the turret rocks and the gun barks. The autoloader never slows down, but the crew still faces new kinds of pressure. With one less person, every job outside of combat gets harder. Changing a thrown track on a 55-ton machine is a 2-hour struggle with 4 people. With 3, it is backbreaking. Maintenance in the field means the commander and gunner get their hands dirty, not just the driver. When a system goes down, there is no spare set of hands to pick up the slack. On paper, the K2's weight drops to 55 tons, well below the M1 Abrams 70-plus tons and even lighter than a Leopard 2. That makes it easier to transport and more fuel efficient, but it also means there is less armor to go around. Every kilogram saved on crew and steel is a kilogram that can be spent on sensors, electronics, or ammunition, but it is still a trade. The real risk comes when the autoloader falters. If a jam happens mid-battle, the main gun is out of action until it is cleared. There is no backup loader to step in. Other tanks like the Leopard 2 rely on a human who can adapt, clear a misfeed, or muscle through a tough moment. On the K2, everything depends on the reliability of gears, sensors, and software. South Korean trainers and maintainers know these challenges well. They drill for autoloader faults, practice emergency repairs, and live with the knowledge that one small failure could silence the tank's biggest advantage. The machine can outpace any human crew, but it also demands a new kind of discipline and trust from the people inside. KAPS, the Korean Active Protection System, surrounds the K2 with a network of sensors and interceptors, all tuned for one job: stop incoming missiles before they strike. 2mm wave radars scan the horizon, picking up the heat and movement of anti-tank missiles or RPGs as far as 150 meters away. When a threat appears, the radar cues a pair of infrared trackers which lock onto the exact trajectory and speed of the incoming round. This sensor fusion, combining radar and infrared, lets the fire control computer distinguish real threats from clutter or decoys and calculate the precise intercept point in fractions of a second. Once the computer confirms a hostile approach, it swings one of the two 100mm grenade launchers into position. Each launcher covers a 60-degree arc, both up and down, and is ready to fire its interceptor grenades at the calculated split second. The system waits until the threat closes to within 10 to 15 meters, then fires, detonating the interceptors in the path of the missile. The blast destroys or deflects the warhead before it can reach the tank's armor. All of this happens automatically, with the crew receiving alerts but not having to intervene. The architecture is compact, with radars and infrared sensors mounted on the turret, launchers set low for maximum coverage, and a central computer handling the rapid-fire calculations. KAPS is engineered for speed and precision, designed to sense, decide, and neutralize threats in less than a heartbeat. KAPS was ready on paper, but the decision to leave it off production tanks came down to hard numbers and field realities. The first problem was cost. Adding KAPS pushed the unit price of each K2 far above the already steep $8.5 million, raising concerns at the Defense Acquisition Program Administration. For a country building hundreds of tanks, every upgrade multiplies across the entire fleet. The second issue was safety. During trials, there were real worries that interceptor grenades could hurl shrapnel toward friendly infantry operating close to the tank. South Korean doctrine expects tanks and dismounted troops to fight together, so any risk to their own side was unacceptable. The third blocker was technical, because KAPS and the VIR-SS soft-kill smoke system could not work together. When the crew launched multispectral smoke grenades to hide from missiles, the radar and infrared trackers on KAPS lost the ability to see incoming threats. That meant the tank could not use both defenses at once. With these three obstacles, procurement officials chose to field K2s with only the VIR-SS system for now, relying on smoke to break enemy targeting. For export customers like Norway, Korea, offered Israel's trophy system instead, a battle-tested solution with no smoke interference. KAPS is not gone for good. It is still planned for future upgrades under the K2 Product Improvement Program, when integration and cost hurdles might finally be cleared. For now, the production K2 remains a study in compromise, advanced but always pragmatic. Every wheel on the K2 is mounted to its own hydropneumatic suspension unit, giving the tank a range of postures that most armored vehicles can only dream of. That design is the core of its mobility and survival. On open roads, the crew drops the hull low. The SIT posture cuts the tank's profile, making it harder to spot and improving handling at high speeds. When rough ground or obstacles appear, the driver switches to stand, raising ground clearance to clear rocks, debris, and deep snow. Facing a trench, the tank can kneel, lowering the front and raising the back. Kneeling lets the gun depress further, so the K2 can fire from behind cover or engage targets on steep slopes. For side hills, the lean function tilts the entire chassis, keeping the gun level while the tank hugs the slope. The numbers tell the story: 60-degree climbs, 30-degree side slopes, 2.7-meter trenches, 4.1 meters of water, and 0 to 32 kilometers per hour in 7 seconds. In a country where 70% of the land is mountains and valleys, these postures are not a luxury, they are survival. Engineers at Hyundai Rotem designed every wheel and piston with Korea's jagged landscape in mind, making sure the K2 can fight where other tanks would stall. Active ISU technology is about to push the K2 even further. Instead of waiting to react, the next upgrade will let the tank scan the ground ahead, radar mapping the terrain up to 50 meters in front. The computer calculates every bump and dip before the tank even gets there, adjusting each wheel in real time. The result is a ride that stays smooth at speed, letting the gun stay on target and the crew keep their focus, even when crossing broken ground at 50 kilometers per hour. This system is not just theory. South Korea's engineers have already built and tested the concept, and it is set for the next wave of K2 tanks under the Product Improvement Program. Real-world validation comes from outside Korea. When Norway put the K2 through Arctic trials, the suspension's ability to kneel and lean on icy slopes set it apart from the Leopard 2A7. Poland's order for 1,000 K2 PL tanks, at $8.5 million each, shows that buyers are betting on this tech for the next generation of armored warfare. In the field, the K2's crew can launch a KSTAM top attack round from a kneeling hull, then shift position and fire again in seconds, all while the suspension absorbs the landscape beneath them. This is not just a tank that adapts to its home terrain. It is a machine built to win on any battlefield, anywhere buyers demand it. Right now, armies worldwide are rethinking what a tank can do and what it should be. As export orders climb and rivals adapt, technology like the K2 is not just reshaping arsenals, it is changing doctrine. In armored warfare, speed and adaptability are no longer optional. They are the new baseline.